So now that we have all this information about the best environments that we need to survive in, the types of survival skills that we need, and even looking at some of the food and water um, elements that we need to consider, what we're going to be doing now is putting these all together and creating a bit of a tourist brochure advertising the ideal place to go in a zombie apocalypse. So attracting people to your hideout is probably the last thing that you want to do, but we're going to be creating a brochure telling people why the place that you've chosen is the best place to go. So we're going to include a couple of elements with that of things that we've looked at in the previous assignments. So one of the first things that we'll be looking at is I want you to include a map of the area, but not just a normal map, although you can include that as well. We're specifically wanting a map that shows the water features. So we're looking at rivers or rivers or lakes or the coast or wells, anywhere where people can access water. Because ideally, if you're going to survive in this location for a long period of time, you need access to fresh water. So we want a map that's going to show where those water sources are in your area. The next thing that you'll need to include are looking at the edible plants and animals that are available in your area. Now, this is a little bit more challenging if you're choosing an urban area or a built-up area because you don't necessarily have access to those natural plants and animals, but we are looking for those indigenous plants and animals that were there originally and how you would eat those and what you can eat out of those plants and animals. So that is a little bit more challenging, particularly if you're in a city. But there is also quite a bit of information about there depending on where you're located. So we're looking for images and a description of those, where you can find them, how you can use them, maybe if you need to prepare them a certain way, and how easy they are to come by. So we want plants and animals on there. We also need any other factors that you think would help people wanting to come and survive in that area. So it might be the fact that there are caves there. It might be the fact that the climate is nice. It might be that it's an isolated community, so there won't be a lot of other people around. It might be mountainous. So think about all the other elements that we've looked at so far and see if you can incorporate those into the brochure as well to help sell it to people about it being the ideal location. So you need a bit of a description about your ideal location, and on the assignment sheet I've specified a minimum of 100 words. And just be aware that all the task sheets and the assignment sheets really do show you the minimum, and your teacher will need to work you through and talk to you about what their expectations are for each assignment, but these are the very base levels. Now, as far as creating the brochure goes, if you go into Publisher on a Windows computer, there is the option to choose a brochure as one of the templates, and that will provide a 2-page template of a brochure. Now, I've included a sample of a brochure on the website, so your teacher might be able to print off some copies of those for you to have a look at, because there's a certain way that they're folded to look like a brochure, and you need to be aware of what the front page is and what the back page is and the information that's on those. That brochure was created on a Mac computer, so the design and layout may be slightly different to what's on the Windows computers if you're using it at school. But the templates are on there, and you've got a few to choose from as well. Okay, so that's it for the brochure assignment.